Well, hey, everybody, it's been a while, but here's another episode of Friends with Music. My name's Jack Mormon. Tonight with me is Todd Stevens. We're going to talk about the very beginnings of what I did with music and what Todd did with music. But let me just give you the premise of what we're doing. I love music. I love playing it. I love singing it. I love listening to it. But I realize I suck. I'm really not that good. But I've been certain, you don't have to back me up. But I've been surrounded by incredible musicians. And truth be told, this is the one that got the whole train started. I give you the credit and the blame at the same time. Let me first introduce Todd. Todd, how you doing?
Hey,
Todd,
grand.
Todd's an architect here in town, and has played with probably about 12 different bands over the
I've
years.
played with a lot of folks,
Yep.
and that's why I'm an architect. In town.
But going back to the mid '80s, Todd and I discovered each other's friends. His mom was one of my teachers. We were troop high together, and just kind of hit it off pretty quick. And I became kind of his sidekick. Wherever Todd went, I would go. He got a new, what was the Cutlass? Is that what was the car?
Mercury Cougar.
Yeah, the Cougar.
Oh, take me back.
Todd got the Miss Mercury Cougar, which the seat fit just me. And so I was
Plush,
just,
little velvety.
I was, we rode everywhere, did everything together.
That was
Uh,
nice.
but Todd started playing like guitar. And I said, wow, man, I want to play guitar. He said, well, we're starting a band.
Yes, because yes,
That's what you do. Because
The
that's what everybody else,
band.
yeah.
We're making a band.
And I played saxophone, so I thought, okay,
Yes.
I could be in a band.
But we didn't need a saxophone player.
No, not in the
We
Little
need
Rock
a bass
band.
player.
So we'll get to that bass part. But tell me about you starting with music. What got you started with music?
We were born into it. It's always in the house. And remember, we were talking last night on the porch, and Mom had every Beatles album, I'm sure. And there was one particular 45 that back in the day, so I'll date myself.
That big.
And I loved the B side of it, and I couldn't think of the name of the tune. It was killing me last night, but it was actually Old Brown Shoe,
Okay.
a George Harrison tune. And that just did it for me. I would play that thing over and over and over, take my little, plastic phonograph thing that you had, set it out on the front
Take my
porch.
G.I. Joe out, put that in.
I'd air guitar out in the grass in the front yard like I was something. And in the country, you never saw a rock band. You didn't know what any of that was. We were so far removed from pop culture. And I don't know. I wanted to play guitar. Had lessons from a couple different people. Never took. I got no skills. But I couldn't put it down. Kind of like playing golf. You're not going to get any better at it, but you're not putting it down, are you? So,
Well, now, what was your first guitar?
oh gosh, I still have it. An acoustic Alvarez Regent made in Korea. We had to put it on layaway back in the day. Put $25 down at what was the music store on Tuggle Hill coming up the. Who was the big guy that was?
I was just talking about, but
Yeah.
I can't remember.
When somebody finds that out, text
yes.
text to
But
let
in the
us know.
comments,
And,
So you're.
I still have it.
Now you actually, I think we'll find out in a minute. Got Greg playing too, did
Yeah. Because once I brought that home, I actually had a set of drums first.
you? Okay.
Right? One of those little Sears set of drums. And very quickly, Dad said, "You're not going to be drummer." Probably not because I had no skill whatsoever and no time, but because it was loud in the house.
And those
he's
old Sears
go,
kind.
Go. That has to
Yeah.
go. So with the guitar, it was much easier. And once I had it, Greg was like, "Well, now I got to one-up you." And he got an electric guitar.
So y'all were talking about playing together, and you and your brother were playing, and I think I heard y'all play one night and said, I got to do this, got to be with y'all. And it was like in the evening, probably 9:30, 10 o'clock, and we were super fired up about starting a band playing. And I had no bass,
No?
but we knew a guy that sold old equipment, and that was Mr. Sanford Gordy with Gordy's Hardware, the old location out Verde Ferry Road. Again, it's 10 o'clock at night, and we're super fired up. We're not drunk. We're just super fired up
We're
about
super
playing.
fired up.
And,
We're young.
So we decided, let's
We
go.
don't know that 10:30 doesn't mean anything to
So
old people.
we drove out there, and God bless him, Mr. Gordy was an awesome guy.
Oh.
He came out in his boxers and
You
the
didn't
wife
have
beater
cell
T-shirt.
phones. It wasn't like you're going to call
No.
ahead or text him and say, you're knocking on his door.
So the light comes on. What are you boys doing out here? Barry Gordy still runs Gordy's Hardware along with my cousin Shannon. Go out there, use them for your hardware needs. That's our first sponsor. We'll say that. But
Sponsors.
so we said, Mr. Gordy, we just really, we know how much you love bluegrass and stuff, and we've heard you play. And we thought, who better to talk to about getting a bass?
We got a band, yeah.
I was
and
real
we
good
need
at
help.
running my mouth at the time. And so
He spun a yarn.
he said, hold on a second. There was this long pause. Goes in, comes out dressed. We go into his shop, go all the way back where all the instruments were. And there's like 8 or 9 guitars. And there's 2 basses, actually 3. There's one that's like really expensive. It looks real nice. It was
I
probably,
got a vision of something with zebra stripes on
I
it.
mean,
Dude, was
that was the
anyway.
one we didn't get. That was one we didn't get. But then there was this Hondo with this really beautiful body, but the neck looked like this.
Firewood, yeah.
And then beside it
Yeah.
was a Lotus. And the body looked like it had been dropped into a dumpster, but the neck was pristine.
Ergo,
So we bought both of them.
hey, concept.
And we made the Frankenstein Hondo Lotus hybrid, which by sticking one into the other,
Never became a thing. It
No,
was never patented.
no.
We got no royalties for that.
then we realized we did not have an amp
That
to
could
play
have
this
taken
out.
off. That should have been.
It should. We realized we'd have an amp to play out of. So,
No. Do you got an amp, Mr. Gordy? Please, we got. How does this work?
well, he had not an amp, but one of those old lecterns. That it was a box, and you would flip up at the bottom, and you would plug in, and there was a light there. It was like for the the
Or
woodmen of the world to
making
go and have a speech.
speeches,
Yeah.
right, at the Elks Lodge or something.
So we plugged it in. Hey, it worked.
That'll
it made
work.
noise.
Yeah.
So
Can we have that little curly cable too? That
Oh yeah,
goes to.
got the cable, no strap. We got it all for like $50, and we go back. We are the happiest 2 human beings you've ever seen in your life. And we play all night long. We're picking out Beatles stuff and Rolling Stone stuff. Just to, G, C, and D. Okay,
Yeah.
this one here.
Yes.
Stay away from the dots, Jack. Don't touch the dots.
Play
okay?
in between them.
Oh, but it was so much
You
fun.
know, I was an adult before I realized that back in the day, albums and cassettes were not in the key of the sheet music.
Yeah, that'll mess you up.
That destroyed me. And I tuned and I just can't.
I can't get the sound. What's that? All right, so we're going to do some random noise stuff in a minute. We're going to bring in 2 of the other members of the band as we're having this big special tonight to get the band back together. But looking back, what is one of the most special musical memories you've got of playing? Not just this random noise, but just in general. One of the best times you played?
It could have been with the Follies. It could have been us in Oklahoma at the college. But no, playing I think the funnest was just in that tiny shack every night. That was therapy. We had an outbuilding that was insulation falling out of it, a door hanging off the hinges, and that was our recluse. That was how we could cope with it. We had a lot of angst back then. We were teens, and teens are woo. Yeah.
And then there was Mike. Mike Tremont would come out and played bass much better than I did, but didn't want to be in a band, but mixed everything we did.
My favorite musical memories are sitting down there, plugged in, and waiting for you guys to walk through the door. And then it's like, I don't care if we ever play a song at all.
Pretty cool.
That's just having you guys around, and that was.
Well, along those same lines, just think
Well,
about
you.
you and stuff you and I have done. There's one that one year we decided to go camping in early September. It was super hot here in LaGrange when we went to go camping. We're going to Mount Cheaha. And we had the guitar with us. It's just going to be a riding trip, and just a tent. Only we had a long sleeve shirt on. We go up there, and it's the coldest weekend ever in Mount Cheaha. So we got up there, leaving the house at 85, 90, get up there, and it's 45 degrees.
Shorts and T-shirts.
Yeah. So we lit a fire. Fires are never an issue for us. And so we're kind of all huddled around. There was a place that sold pancakes and breakfast all day. We stayed there pretty much the whole
Go
time.
up to the to the restaurant up there, and they were Belgian waffles.
Oh, gosh, they were great.
with powdered sugar on it.
But
yeah.
but the thing about the music part, I remember, we walked by, there's a flyer that said, church service tomorrow morning. This is a Saturday. It said tomorrow morning. If you play, come and play for our service. And so we got back to the tent,
Right.
put our tents in.
We play.
We got around the fire, heated them up, went to the tent. and we just sat around, come up with a couple. I think we like wrote one Christian
Did we?
song.
I was gonna say, we
Yeah.
had no material.
Yeah, so we like wrote one that did like Amazing Race or something like that. And then we went and we led the music for the Mount Chiaha Church that morning. There was like 18 campers there, all grizzled up,
I don't think they knew that we weren't actually playing music. We were
Well, we talked to the little preacher guy and he said, "Are y'all the guys here to play?" And we're like,
yes, we are.
"Why?" Yes, we are.
Are you the good old boys?
Yes, we are. Rawhide. But we did. We played for the beginning of the service. He preached. We played the closing. I think we figured out Just As I Am at the last moment. But just out of nowhere, we brought music to
There was a
people.
lot of GC and D.
Oh, yeah.
that was a good.
Well, I think
was
those are
very
great
cool.
chords. But that was a really, really neat night too. All right, so we got some more nights that we want to tell y'all about the actual band all getting together. We're going to reminisce about that in just a few minutes. But tonight's a real special night for us. We got the band back together, if you will. Lee Beckham and Greg Stevens are going to be joining us in a few minutes, and we're going to play an actual original Random Noise song for y'all tonight, and we'll kind of describe that for you. But this has been Friends with Music. There's more to come. When we get to all of Random Noise back together, we'll see y'all in a bit. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome back to Friends with Music. I'm Jack Borman. I've got Todd Stevens, which y'all got to meet just a little bit ago. Beside him is his brother, Greg Stevens. That's with an extra G. He's very special. He gets the extra G in there. And this is Lee Beckham, who I didn't know that was his name when Lee first started playing with us. He was just Kerry Lee Beckham. And because we actually called him Kerry Paul, because there's a automobile dealer in Atlanta called Kerry Paul Ford. And I saw those commercials, so I thought that was his name. We needed a drummer, and I said, "Hey, Amy's really cute. Why don't we get her brother to be in the band?" So
That's how you audition drummers, through their sisters.
Yes, the hotter the sister, the better the drummer. So he's real good. Anyway, so we're going to kind of walk through the timeline, but we put together a little band in the mid 80s, early 90s, and as Greg pointed out to Todd, we never broke up.
That's right. We just took a 30-year vacation.
We never officially called it quits.
No,
Well,
and
we're
Greg
still
hasn't
there.
shaved since then. So,
We still get royalties.
yes, over all those songs.
You guys aren't getting the royalties.
Oh, that's where those checks went.
I'm still waiting for my
He wants
share.
his cut of the $50.
Hey, we did do paying gigs, all right? Admiral Ben Bowen.
We got $30 once.
But anyway, so we wanted to kind of reminisce. And this, again, as I've mentioned earlier in these shows, this is not so much for y'all. This is for us, okay? It's just a chance for us to reminisce
Totally for
and,
us.
and enjoy things. So we talked with Todd a little bit, kind of the guy that got me started with music. Greg, what got you started?
I got started because he came home from music lessons with a guitar, and he's playing Blackbird by the Beatles and Paul McCartney, and I was blown
Are you
away.
doing the full?
Just the finger picking and everything he was doing. I've got to go get a guitar now. I've got to catch up and learn how to do it. In the back of my mind, I thought maybe we would have a band one day, maybe.
That makes me sound like I
And
knew how to play it.
I
That's
wanted
so wrong.
to catch up to him and learn how to play like he did. And
Greg's the older brother, by the way.
yeah, so and then also probably my best friend in high school. Shout out to Paul Hammett, one of the best musicians
I need to do Paul on one of these
in
shows.
LaGrange and in the state. Paul, great guy, miss you, love you. He played guitar all through high school, and also I just really was into music and playing guitar because of him too. He was so good, and I wanted to be like him, be like my brother, so I started playing.
So that's another one of those dovetails we were talking about. Paul played with Chris Barnes with their band. Help me, I've got it.
Well,
Rhythm.
and Terry Cooper was in there with him. I mean, I'm the little kid
The
hanging
Night
around.
Sharks.
with
Night
Big
Sharks,
Brother.
thank you. That's
One
the-
of them,
the-
Night
and
Sharks.
Paul
The
played
Danglers
with
for a while.
Tyler
and
Hill.
Terry.
played
and,
with
Actually,
too.
Chris is back with Reasons Why right now. So again, just all these guys we all knew
Exit
separately,
18,
all kind of got together. Mm-hmm.
Exit 4, were they one of them?
Except for that's with Rooster and
shout
and that
out to
kind of group.
Rooster.
Yep. Craig, how about you, Lee? How'd you get started?
I can't pick a moment where I can say that I got started, but I do remember as a kid, 5, 6 years old, running around the house and getting pots and pans and setting them up in my closet like every drummer did in their
He wasn't in the band at that time.
No, not yet.
That's
it was
what he's
another
going to
year.
play in a minute for you.
And I remember just hitting the little pop shells, aluminum pie shell tins as cymbals and the pots and pans. And then one day, of course, I joined the school band, like everybody else does. And one day, my sister comes home and says, "Hey, I know these guys in my class at college. They need a drummer." And turns out to be these guys, Todd, Greg, and Jack. And they came over to the house and helped. Of course, I was 14. I didn't know how to drive.
Because
I wasn't
you
legal.
played the quads, that was what
Yes,
sold us.
Captain
Because
Quads.
you could make that
But-
move.
But they came over to the house and picked me up for every rehearsal since I was 14. And Todd's mom was
So
my
when somebody
English
comes
teacher.
to your mom and says, "Hey, we're these college guys, and we want your son for the night. We'll bring him back.
We'll bring him back
In
in
the
a few
same
hours.
shape he's in right
And
now.
we're moving stuff out of the house. And the thing I remember the most about that particular day was Greg looking at Todd carrying my hi-hat out the door, saying, "Hey, Todd, look, he's got one of these cymbals with the foot pedal."
That's we knew music.
You know, guys,
We knew music.
And we've
head
been
to toe.
together ever
aficionados
since.
right there.
We searched for Burma bells for years.
And I've never laughed so much in my life than I have with
So
these
good.
guys.
It was, you know, Todd mentioned the little shack out behind Stevens compound, and we eventually got all that stuff out of there and into the cabin to give us a little more room.
That was an upgrade for the studio.
With your kerosene heater.
Exactly. It's just- you had that wonderful smell when you left at the cabin.
And all of our outlets were ungrounded.
Oh gosh, there was such a buzz.
Every
And
time
if-
your lip
if
touched
Ken
the
Wood sees-
microphone.
if Ken Wood's watching, he came
Light you up.
to visit and play with us one day, and he came
God,
up
I
to the
forgot about that.
microphone, and it shocked him, and a spark blew off, and it put a soot mark on his front tooth where it burned him. And so sorry, Ken.
Yeah, there was no grounding up back there.
They weren't trying to kill you.
we knew to wear shoes.
We took the
you couldn't play
fuses
barefoot.
out and
I
just
forgot
stuck
about Ken
pennies
going in
in
there
the
getting
fuse
blown
box.
We blew Ken
We blew a
out.
Ken.
Now that was a good picker.
Oh gosh, he
Oh,
was.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
but we-
he still is.
That was nice.
It is probably about 15 to 20 different people rolled in and out, kind of playing with us. We'd have parties from time to
Since
time.
we couldn't, we had to
Right.
bring in people that
We had
could.
to invite people
so
in
we
that
can
knew how
watch
to
them.
play.
And needed
I
I think
people
he's
old enough
playing
to
a G
drive.
chord,
Yeah,
man.
we watch closely.
Look,
Oh, don't touch the refrigerator. We would camp out there.
we just shock each other just.
Yeah.
It was a painful but fun process. But then we actually kind of decided let's try to play somewhere. I think our biggest gig was the grand opening
Was
of the
that,
Admiral
was
Benbow
that
Inn.
the first gig, or was
The
that?
first official got paid gig was all right. And here's
All
the
right.
thing:
I wasn't
we had
there
no
for that.
stage.
No,
We had no stage, so they had backed up a
they
flatbed
don't know what
trailer.
an Admiral Bimbo is. You got to explain.
Before or
There's
after
So-
me?
We had
So-
a rolling drum machine we called Max.
Max, yeah.
He was before you.
you replaced technology.
So you got Days Inn and Motel 6. Take about 6 steps down, and you got the Admiral Benbow Inn. And it had just opened up down the road past where Great Wolf is now. 'Cause let's compare those two. And they wanted to put on a big spectacle. So they had balloons everywhere. There were free hot dogs and a live band.
A live band.
A live band.
music.
And so there we were on the back of, which wasn't a truck meant to do this. This was an old pulpwood truck that had little slats on it. And we would
Yeah.
stand between them
Yeah.
to try not to fall down. I was up high
Yeah.
on the thing that hooked onto the truck. So I was like on this little circle,
The tongue.
probably
Just
not to fall
always
down.
put the
The tongue of
tall
the thing.
guy up. That would make sense.
And
Yeah.
we played our 12 songs probably 4 or 5 times. And I think we got paid $100, and so 25 to everybody.
I don't remember getting anything.
Oh, well, okay.
You
Invested that.
Apparently, you didn't get paid.
That Amazon stock is still paying me back.
See, management is. Yeah, it was
But then,
overhead.
then we would do a series of fraternity houses. I know I got my hat stolen one night by Cap House. I'm still very upset about that.
Listen, that Pie Cap House band thing, that was wild. We broke every string we had.
I'm
only
playing
one I
the
remember
bass
is the
lead
college
if
did,
there was
yeah.
one, and y'all are talking to each other like, I only got 4 strings
we,
left.
we gotta quit now. We're out of strings. And the deck out there on the field
I remember, yeah.
that afternoon at the college.
We just decided, hey, why don't we go play down
We're
there?
gonna go play up there. You got us to go do that, and I'm like, do we even have permission? Yeah, we're good.
We'll be-
Let's
we'll be
go.
fine.
Nobody's gonna
Trust me.
care.
We
It was
Also,
one outlet. We ran
we
an
ran
extension
out-
cord up to the dorm up there to.
We got like 8 orange cords coming out of all these dorm rooms.
Fortunately, we didn't have any equipment
No.
except 2 amps and a podium to plug in.
I had an amp at that time. I think
We can sing
I
through the
progressed
podium
past
at
that.
the same time.
Oh, but it was just so much fun. Just so much fun. And so Todd's played with lots of different folks in the community. I know that Lee, you worked with the LSPA and lots of other folks. You played at Georgia, didn't you?
I did. I marched for 2 years in the Redcoats. I wasn't any good. I was the very bottom guy on the totem pole, and I was
You
happy
fit
to
in
be
so
there.
well with the band.
There you
And I tried out a couple more times, but school was really kicking my butt. I wasn't able to spend a whole lot of time with practice, but I was happy to do the 2 years that I did there at Georgia.
Well, now you still go up there and do some of the alumni stuff, don't you?
I still go back and play on the alumni band whenever they have those, pre and post COVID.
Now, Greg, I know that your guitar has been there close to your heart, but did you ever get a chance to play much anymore?
No, my wife and I record songs together,
Oh, cool.
and then we'll practice them for about 5-10 minutes, so we're not real good at it, and
Uh-huh.
go, that's it. And we'll then immediately send it to Todd, send it to my mom, and they're like,
Oh,
I'm not
thank
sure
you.
what they're thinking. But we've done
What song
we've
was
literally
that?
done hundreds of those, and so that's helped me kind of stay.
So
Yeah,
there,
the latest was
Playing.
Loverboy last week.
We did.
Phenomenal.
We
Turn
did
Me
Turn Me
Loose.
Loose.
but
that
there
was
would
awesome.
have been a lot more music for you to be able to sample and know about, but there was a problem. Every time we got together and Mike would record it on his 4-track and turn it into a cassette, we would get in the car, somebody's car, and you had the best car in the world.
BMW.
The BMW was like the greatest car I'd ever been in my life.
And me too, until it was total.
But we would get in the car and we would drive around, and I would be anything that had us playing made me excited. I was like, "We're the greatest band ever!" I think you and I would be in the back, so like, "We're the greatest band ever!" And Todd or Greg one would get so mad at the lead they just played or the lick they just did. They hit eject,
Not the
grab
right
it,
chord. It's,
and they would throw it on a road sign, bang! And if they didn't hit it, they want to back up and do it again.
That's why there's no music.
There's no music because
No.
they're all on Hamilton Road or Weissville
no
Road.
archive.
And I thought
We're just perfectionists.
our first album should have been called "Found on the Roadside." That's why that tape sounds so bad that your dad found, because it was out in the yard.
That was it. He found it in the
found it.
driveway.
You missed the sign, landed in the ditch.
Huh, what's this?
Oh.
But we,
No, the only reason that was kept was because it didn't say Random Noise on it. I think it had REM written on the back of it. Or
but we,
something like that.
we actually discovered a videotape that we watched. It was a slideshow that we did in college. We've listened to kind of a distorted Jabba the Hutt version of one of our songs, but it was just the best memory of the Random Noise days.
It's just fun being kids in garage band and just you're a rock star. You make your first power A chord and you're just like, I am a star.
It's kind of like Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future, where he stands in front of the big speaker, the silver thing, boom, throws it across the room. But that's what he wanted.
That's it. That in our eyes, that's why the tapes didn't survive. Because when we're doing it, we're rock stars. You go back and listen to it, and you're like, wow, that's wow.
You're right, Jack. You can sing.
Wow.
Greg?
roll the
It
window
was in the
down.
moment. That's what it was. That's what it was so. good.
Oh.
Exactly.
Yeah, we were best live band ever.
Right.
Grateful Dead's got nothing.
We
on
would
us.
randomly hit the right notes.
All right, the
Favorite-
name Random Noise,
Oh gosh.
right?
We got the name.
Because we went through lots of names.
Alizarin Crimson.
Stump full of granddaddy long legs. I promise you that was in contention.
I think stuff full of buttholes was in there too.
The Flannel Twins.
The Flannel Twins. Yeah.
Captain
Chocolate,
Quads and the Flannel Twins.
chocolate
Yes.
Saddle.
Chocolate Saddle.
I,
I don't
and in
know.
fact,
I don't know why that never worked.
I had challenged Todd to write a song and use the word chocolate saddle in it. And
I
damn it,
accept your
he did
challenge.
it. And he came in and it was seamless in the music. And I was like, it's so good to say something that stupid and it's not even silly or funny. He just blended it into the
I don't
song.
remember the song.
I don't think we ever played it.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh.
That's why. Yeah. So
It's against the road sign.
So how we got Random Noise?
how we got Random Noise? Because the classes at the college, Random Noise is a thing. I just liked the fact that what we did was seriously random, and
Noise.
everybody thought it was noise.
Mhm. With a
But
Z.
when I heard what the definition, you looked it up the other day.
It's like all the frequencies of music coming together as one to make one cohesive sound.
That was it.
White
See,
noise.
that was the
And-
seminal
It's,
moment.
it's a synonym for white noise.
Yeah.
And in business
We wrote a song
class
called Synonyms.
at LaGrange College with Ronnie McGoy, he says the word random noise. And Todd's in the front. He turns around and looks at me, and I'm like, "That's our name, random noise."
Well, the tagline is what got me, because Todd Y'all's mother is an English teacher, and it is the worst subject verb agreement. More of it, but louder.
Yeah, that.
More of what?
Original T-shirt. We
It-
had
it's-
T-shirts.
He is actually sporting. He's the only one who actually get it over his shoulders of any of the T-shirts. But random noise, more of it, but louder. But it was spoken.
Still on
perfect.
tour. We're
Yes.
still doing the more of it but louder tour. But
When we
but
learn
more
more
or less
songs, we'll
not
do a
as
new
loud as
tour.
we used to.
We're working with Miracle Ear to get sponsorships.
They're not in-ear monitors. Huh?
What?
Ah!
Chords!
And Geritol. And
Yes.
Flomax. they're
Yes.
also
Oh, boy.
sponsoring this.
And as we move on. So this is just a great time for us to reminisce, and we're actually going to go and piddle around a little bit, kind of get to where we feel really good about one song. We're not sure which one it's going to be yet, and then we're going to bring that to you to kind of conclude this three-parter of Friends with Music.
And
With-
we all haven't been in the same place
Oh, gosh.
since 91 or 92.
It's been
It's the first time I've seen him
decades.
since
Since-
92.
Decades.
Since he just started driving a car.
Since he got his license, we hadn't seen him. He just took off one day, and
They
we
grow
had to
up
find
so
a new
fast.
drummer.
Well, we did have a few drummers there.
Shout out to all the drummers and the
to
tragic
all the
gardening
drummers we've
accident.
loved before. There was one party we played that I actually had to be the drummer. I don't know if you remember this, but one of our former drummers who would miss a lot of gigs didn't show up, and it was either at an old house out. Anyway,
Hang on,
we got together
hey.
to play, and there was no drummer, and all I could do is keep a straight beat. I can't once you deviate. I'm fine here.
We made the choice that we could do without bass,
Yes.
but we had to have drums.
And all the songs were.
My job is solidified. Is what I'm
Exactly.
hearing.
Oh, it was so bad. Like, please let this night end. Oh, it was so bad. But hey, we got paid. So anyway, so we're going to transition out, and we'll bring you more of this exciting edition of Friends with Music in just a little bit. Friends with Music, and we're just having a good time. We're up here at Lee Beckham's Attic. You can call for parties, venues. It's a great spot. We've got actually sitting on a pinball table. Great spot. Remotes for everything, including the girls. So now we're ready to do a song for you. This is going back one of our first songs we wrote called "Living the American Dream."